You know that feeling, that kind of tired that sleep just doesn't touch? It's like a spiritual exhaustion where even hope starts to feel heavy. Well, today we're going to dive right into that feeling and explore this really profound comfort that can be found right there in the middle of it all. So let's get into it.
Yeah, it all starts right here. I'm tired of everything, and I bet so many of us know exactly what this feels like. It's so much more than just being physically worn out, right? It's being tired of trying, tired of hoping, even tired of just pretending you're okay. It's just this weight that settles deep down in your soul. And when you're that exhausted, it just seeps into every single part of your life. The simplest things can feel, monumental. And if you're a person of faith, even something as personal as prayer, making dua, can start to feel like a chore. It just becomes tired, repetitive, and honestly, just plain difficult. And that's when this little voice of doubt starts to creep in. You've been praying for the same thing over and over and over again, but nothing's changing. So that question starts echoing in your head. What's the point of asking again? Is there really any meaning in just saying the same words up to the heavens day after day? Okay, so this is where things get really interesting, because our minds, when they're this tired, can lead us down a pretty tricky mental path. And it all starts with the very nature of repetition. So let's break this down. The first part of the equation is just this: repetition, especially when it's mixed with a long delay. You're asking and you're asking, but you're just not seeing an immediate response. Your situation isn't changing. It really is like constantly knocking on a door that just doesn't seem to be opening. And that combination, well, it can start to feel like you're being met with nothing but silence. It feels like your words are just vanishing into a void, totally unheard, totally unacknowledged. So when you feel that silence, where does your heart go? What does that silence start to feel like? Distance. It feels like this huge spiritual gap has opened up. And what does that do? It makes you want to pull back. Not just from people, but from hope itself. It's this quiet little whisper that tells you to just stop trying, stop even trying to connect. But right here, at this lowest point, this is where a really crucial shift can happen. A turning point that completely reframes this whole experience of exhaustion and silence. You might look at this and think it's someone giving up, but it's not. This is actually the most honest prayer you can make. It's that moment of total surrender where all the pretense just falls away. You're not trying to find the perfect words anymore. You're just laying out the raw truth of how exhausted you are. And here it is. This is the big, powerful realization, the absolute game changer. You might be tired of everything, but Allah is never, ever tired of hearing from you. While you might be exhausted from asking, from hoping, even from just speaking, the one you're speaking to is never tired of listening. And this comparison just lays it out so clearly. On the one hand, you have us with our human limits. We get tired of repetition, we lose our patience, we get overwhelmed, we stop listening. But then, on the other hand, you have divine patience. God never gets bored, is never overwhelmed, and is always welcoming. We project our own limitations onto the divine, but the reality is just completely different. But believe it or not, this idea goes even deeper, because there's actually a kind of hidden gift inside this state of being completely and utterly drained. I mean, think about it for a second. When you are just exhausted, you stop performing. You don't have the energy to try and sound perfect. You stop pretending you have it all together. The whole performance just drops. And this leads to something we could call sincerity without effort. What is that? It's that raw, unfiltered, honest connection that's left over when you literally have no energy left to impress anyone or even structure your own words. And that right there, that might be one of the purest forms of connection there is. So let's just recap the deeper truths we can take away from all this. Number 1, divine patience is limitless. You can never ever over-ask. Number 2, repeating a prayer is actually a really meaningful sign of your persistence and your need. It's not pointless. 3, your emotional exhaustion can seriously distort how you see reality. What feels like distance from God might just be your own tiredness talking. 4, and this is a big one, you are accepted as you are, not as you perform. And finally, number 5, that true deep tiredness can actually lead to the purest form of sincerity. All right, so let's bring this all home. What does this realization actually do for you? Well, it brings this incredible sense of relief. A relief that's completely rooted in acceptance.
Now, let's be really clear about something. This insight, it's not a magic fix. It's not going to instantly cure your burnout or take away whatever is making you tired. That feeling of exhaustion, it might stick around for a while.
But what it does do is remove something so much heavier. It lifts that fear that your tiredness has made you unwelcome, that your weakness, your weariness, your inability to be strong has pushed you away. It gets rid of the guilt you carry for being so tired. And once that fear is gone, well, turning back to God, connecting again, it suddenly feels so much easier. Not because she was strong again, but because she didn't need to be. That's the liberating part, realizing that being strong was never a requirement to be heard in the first place. So I want to leave you with this question to think about. What if your tiredness isn't a barrier at all? What if it isn't a wall that's separating you from connection? What if, instead, it's actually an invitation? An invitation to show up exactly as you are, tired, honest, and completely 100% real.